All right, I see folks piling right away here. Excellent, love to see it. You folks have questions, get those in for me right away. If not, I'm going to give it a moment to let folks come and join, and we'll get going right after that. So bear with me while we just give it a moment here to let folks come in. Let's see here. Again, for those of you that are watching on Twitter, feel free to join us on the YouTube side here. Trying to post that out on the Twitter box for you all now. Get you a link there. All right. I'm monitoring both of those, I guess, here. Let's see. All right, yeah, I do believe so. Very good. All right. Perfect. So, all right, I'm just going to get rocking and rolling here, folks. I've put links into the Twitter comments there to get over to the YouTube side here. I monitor that chat. We started streaming to Twitter a couple of weeks ago here, but still getting the hang of that. There's questions and answer box over there. So if you have any questions at all, join us on either side, YouTube or the Twitter side, of course. And it's free for all here. Any questions, trade ideas related, please do get those in for us, right? With that said, all right, I'm having trouble setting up my setup. All right, so, with any software, you got to start with the basics, right? If we don't have the basics down for anything, it's key, right? So when you first launched here, close up some of what I got here, minimize it, all right? And when you first launched here, you should have seen something that looks like, let's get a dock channel bar and explosive winners channel. So this is what you should have seen on your first launch here, something that looks like this. This is part of our dock channel bar here, and channels are essentially what we call layouts. They're a conglomerate of scans and charts, some other data points that are in there. So these are ways that you just get going right away and fresh out of the box just like that. But we offer two different channel bars here. There's the dock channel bar, which we're in, and the regular channel bar that's like this. We can go ahead and expand that out. We can press more. You got a really huge list of conglomerate layouts that are in there. There's also building your own stuff too, and that is where most users will head to at some point. Although I will say it's about 50-50 split between folks that just use the channels and folks that, build their own stuff, out of the thousands and thousands of users that we have. So like anything else, like I said, the basics, let's start with, if we were looking to build out, just put our own charts up there. Under new, we find charts and we go ahead and open a chart. It's going to come with some defaults. And basically everything is controlled in Trade Ideas by a right click. If we right click here, we'll see things like we can change time frames. We could duplicate a chart here. We could mark charts up this way here when we don't have the browser interface selected. When we have the browser face selected, you see that little check mark that's there now. We mark charts up over here, right? And then under properties, there's a whole other slew of items that we can look at in here with enabling pre and post market, symbol linking, meaning that when we click on a symbol in a scan, it will change our charts or not change our charts based on our preference. There's several other things that are in here, but we'll leave the complicated or the more advanced stuff to the side for now. So, we can get out a series of charts here. Let's just build out a few charts real fast here. 1, 2, and 3. Let's go with 3 charts. Let's move these to the side. Let's give us some real estate. We're just going to build a real simple layout together real fast here. All right. So there's 3 charts, and we can again look to see I've got browser face not checked. I've got browser face checked. There's different things that can go on with the browser face on or off. And then if I want to build my own scan, well, we offer several different ways to scan. We can start with alert windows. An alert window is a combination of alert event and filters. Usually come with some pre-defaults when you get in here. It'll be called breaking out on volume. You can change that name to anything. You can custom name whatever the window you want it to be. I mean, it could be a pullback scan, and you could call it breaking out on volume, if you wanted to. With that said, we'd start in the search here, and we want to identify what alerts and events are versus filters. And so the alert events are these single icons here, like a new high, a new low. Let's just scroll through a little bit here. Sorry, I'm loading up my drawing tool. There we go. There's a drawing tool. So these kinds of things here, these are the alerts, those pullbacks that we see there, so on and so forth. You got a whole slew of them. Altogether, you got a little over 500 data points. And then we'll get down here to double icons that look like this. And these are our filters indicated by minimum and maximum values that we will feed those in the Windows specific filter tab. We're going to get there in 1 second. So we're just going to build out a really simple scan fast here. And let's see, let's do a breaking out scan on new highs, right? So I'd go new high and I'd add that alert and I put a check mark here. It brings us to the selected alert side. I'm going to uncheck what I had in there in my defaults. And then I'm going to say, well, I want a price range on this. We'll add that price range, add that filter. Folks, and anybody with questions, put those in here. I can't make my screen bigger. I can make these windows bigger if that helps some, but I can't make my screen bigger for you, sorry. So let's say I want to look at stocks between $4 and $400, just as an example. I can also use the show me function magnifying glass in the middle here, and you see where it says show me the prices between $4 and $400. I can edit right here, and I can go $4,000, and if I press OK, you see it's $4,000 now, and it transfers to right there. Relative volume, for those that don't know, a relative volume filter uses a 30-day ratio average. So 1 is normal, 2 is 2 times, 3 is 3 times, 4 is 4 times, so on and so forth. It's a reactionary filter. So throughout the day, relative volume, if volume continues to increase, you can see the relative volume increase. If volume decreases, you can see the relative volume decrease. It's basically saying at the current rate we're going in volume, this is where we're headed for the day. So most stocks right on the open will show very high relative volumes because you got burst of, all those funds that are filling orders and everything like that. And then that ends, right? And then it's up to the next set of traders to continue that volume or not continue that volume. So it's, one thing to keep in mind. Let's kick with a 5 relative volume here. And we're going to set up a minimum amount of shares traded on the day. Let's say we want to see 750,000 shares traded on the day. All right. But, that's just a basis here. That's a basis. We're breaking out on volume, we said. So we set that relative volume. But let's also look at other volumes that we've got. Let's look at other volumes we got. All right. Well, 1 minute volume, very popular. These work on a percent basis for 10 days, meaning 100's 1 times, 200's 2 times, 300's 3 times, so on and so forth. These are rolling time frames. So it's always looking back 1 minute, and it's using the historical baseline of that rolling 1 minute. So we're not looking at candles with this here. And we could go ahead and add that filter. And I could say, I want to kick this thing. I want to see stuff's kicking, doing 5 times what it's normally doing. So we'll go with 500 there. Let's come back and, very popular for a lot of folks, RSI. And we might say, all right, I want to see the 1 minute RSI. Let's add that filter and let's check out 1 minute RSI at 60. All right. And so this is the basis of a scan here. Whatever you want to find, you type into here. And if we have it, you'll find it, whether it's an SMA, VWAP, right? MACD, right? You'll find if we have it, you'll find it there. If you ever struggle, we have this platform here. We have a live traders room all day long, right? And so these are all places that you can find some help all day long for you here. There's our live support chat. You know, some of you folks, I talk to you often there, so don't be shy getting into those. Do you have any pre-made Bollinger Band scans? I don't, but Drew, if you can stick around a little bit as I run through this to help Alex a little bit get going, we'll build something together. If you want to throw in what you're looking for in this Bollinger Band scan, you know, what kind of time frame we're looking at, you know, stuff like that, and we'll do an exercise and build it right here together. So we've got those items here that we've started the scan with. We'll press OK, and that brings us to the summary tab, and that tells us what we're doing here with that scan essentially. And we go ahead and name it, and, you know, we'll call it my first breakout, right? We'll press OK, and sorry, populated on the screen. Let's bring it over. And we got it. And the last alert happened at 12:07 and 49 seconds Eastern time today. We've got a number of columns that are displaying different data points here. If I right click and come back to the configure, because remember, we can find all sorts of things with the right click and configures. We will see columns as an option here. There are some columns that will always be in here as default on the bank of the right. This is our bank. This is what we're displaying. So if we didn't want to display something, we'd select it on the left, move it to the right. If you want something that's not displayed, oops, pardon me. I'll get rid of the drawing. If we want something that's not displayed, we can come to the search and we can display any filter, not alert. So we're going to category and we're going to go filter. And so any one of these we could put in here. So if we wanted to see today's average true range, we could select it, show column. And now we see average true range is in the selected. We press OK, OK. And now average true range has been added to our scan here for that column. And, you know, let's just get a look at the history today just for fun and see what this alerted here, if there's anything good coming out of it. So we can see quite a few alerts coming out of it. The more available means that we've hit 1,000 mark because this can hold up to 1,000 symbols at once before it starts pushing symbols off. So if you want to see more history, we could right click. We can click the more. We can use the time frame, so on and so forth. And NEUP, it's been a high flyer today, to say the least. Let's see, MIDD also getting some alerts from that. So what does that look like here? All right, MIDD. Let's get some intraday time frames, right? We can't be on there's one time frame there. That doesn't make sense, right? So there's a daily chart. Here's 5 minutes. And let's squeeze this down a little bit. There we go. And let's make this 3 minutes. So, all right, we got an alert here at, let's see, 164. It's moved along nicely. And might have seen an alert a little earlier on that, maybe. I guess not. But, you know, let's see what evacs do. So, quick alert, quick hit here. Shot way up, came back down. We're getting a lot of alerts from that. We got that pretty early, as a matter of fact. HIMX. There's MIDD. So, we did get that even earlier there. BKSY. So, all right, we've gone through that a little bit on that part of the scan building. Let's see, I have signed up for E-Trade. So do I use them or Interactive Brokers? What's the difference? Use any broker you want. We just happen to connect directly to those. I'll say it's about 50-50 with our users that use the Brokerage Plus interface to connect. So I'll leave that, you know, that's entirely up to you. We do that through what we call our Brokerage Plus interface here. Let me find my window of that. I got somewhere living in here. Bear with me. Where is Brokerage Plus? There it is. Here we go. So I just got to simulate it. I'm connected to our simulator right here. But, you know, I don't have an E-Trade account. I do have an Interactive Brokers account. I don't use it right now. And obviously I can't show that stuff live because it'll put all my account information out there. What I'm going to do is drop our link from our user's guide to all broker connections. So bear with me. It'll start on the Interactive Brokers one. And then as you use the arrows to navigate through it, it'll go over E-Trade and Alpaca as far as the paper. But with paper Alpaca and live Alpaca, it's the same thing. All you have to do is click live instead of paper. And I'll just illustrate that right now. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that you like the Brokerage Plus with IBKR. Some people love it. Some people don't care for it. different strokes for different folks. So with the alpaca, if anybody did happen to have that, instead of selecting the paper, you just select live as long as you have a funded alpaca account and you sign their agreements with the exchanges and all that stuff like that, and you connect right into it right there. So very straightforward with alpaca. Last thing I want to go over before we start to help Drew, and then Alex, you have other questions, keep getting those questions in for me. All right. I want to go over the difference between alert windows and top list. So we talked about the alert window, how it's an alert and an event met at the same time all of our filters are met, and that'll give you a stamped alert to the second. Boom, this stock did what you were asking me for. Our top list, these are two main core scanning types, right? So top list just filters, and it auto refreshes every few seconds with every stock that meets the filters there. And so it's the same concept on this. We just see that we don't have the alerts here or the selected alerts tab across here, right? And if you want to have a scan that's just constantly updating like that, that's where you're going to want the top list window. I also find top list windows are more popular among swing traders who are doing work in the evening, trying to find setups for the next day. The alert windows generally tend to be a little more popular for day traders that are looking for that boom. I want that alert right now to see what's coming through my scanner. It's not a hard and fast end all be all with that, just generally how they're more popular or not more popular. So Drew, let's see here. Bollinger Bands, not seeing anything else regarding Bollinger Bands exactly. So let's build this out as a top list Bollinger Band right now, because I'm not sure what alert might fit into whatever idea you have behind what you want to build. But we'll start with Bollinger Bands, right? And we've got these four here, 5, 15, 60, and daily. So I don't know, we're going to go somewhere towards the middle here. We'll go with a 15-minute Bollinger Band. We're going to add that filter, and then we can use the show me function here to see what we're doing by adding values. So let's just say we put 100 in the minimum. It would say show me stocks where it's at least 100% above the way of the lower band, right? If I did that over here instead, we have no 10-second charts. 1 minute is as low as we go. On this here, you show me where the price is below the lower band, prices at the lower band, or it's no more higher than then it's no more than 100% above the lower band. And that's how we can start to filter this out. So I'm not sure what you're looking for in this exactly. Now, also a big deal with Bollinger Band scanning is John Bollinger, the creator of Bollinger Bands, created as a momentum indicator, not a revision to the mean. Although I understand that revision to the mean is extremely popular for Bollinger Bands, John created that a break of the top band, momentum upside, break of the lower band, downside. But that's just, it's simplifying things, of course, but that's how John intended them. I recognize that probably more mainstream traders actually use them as revisions to the mean. For those that don't know, Bollinger Band is 2 standard deviations above and 2 standard deviations below a 20 SMA. Looking for more information on that kind of stuff, obviously the web is out there and you can get you all slews of types of stuff, but I have the general workings and ins and outs. Good, Alex. Good. I'm glad this helps you, because I know that a lot of folks want us to do one-on-ones with them, but we're not some big multi-billion-dollar corporation with hundreds of employees. We're actually a very, very small company, and we just can't possibly one-on-one everybody that comes in. Although I wouldn't mind doing it if I had the time, but I would be doing it from the time I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning till the time I went to sleep at 10 o'clock at night. So this group setting is how we can best address large sums of people. We also have a live traders room that, it isn't quite interactive in this sense. Barry, who runs it's more talking, his charts and stuff like that. He doesn't recommend any trades. But if you ask Barry any questions on the software, he's going to be able to help you for sure. He just doesn't sit there with dead air. So with that said, Drew, if you have something specific you're looking for a Bollinger Band scan, let me know and I'll build it out. But if I was building one for me, I'd build something like this. I want to see it, 90% above, because I use Bollinger Bands in a scan, actually, my race scan, and I use it for momentum. So I'd be building it out like this. Actually, let me just share that scan with you. Let me share that with you. I don't consider it a Bollinger Band scan, but technically it is. Bear with me. Bear with me. Where is my? Oh no, I know what to do. Here we go. Sorry. Bear with me. File, load from cloud, shared. Relative strings from the open, share, copy, and then I'll show you what this scan is actually doing. So first, let me share a link to it, right? That makes sense first. And then where's my docs, charts? There we go. So it's this scan up here. And if I right click and I come to open top list, because races are a top list at their core, what I did here is I said, show me stocks on the 5-minute Bollinger Band. They're 85% above the low. So I'm trying to find things that are breaking out. I want momentum. And then I put some volume metrics in here and a price range that I like in here and things like that to find, quote, actively traded stuff. Some's going to be more thinly traded than others. 400,000 shares at 2 o'clock in the afternoon is not very much liquidity. 400,000 shares at 10 o'clock in the morning is okay liquidity, right? So it's, take it relative to the time and things of that nature like that. So I'll share that out with you like that, Drew. Yeah, I have some parameters I'd like to have in it, but it's like 5 or 6 things. Throw those 5 or 6 things at me, Drew. That's what I'm here for, man. I'm happy to, we'll walk right through it here. If we've got it, we'll build it. If we don't have that, then obviously we won't be building it, right? But, get those out there. So, and then let's see, Alex, sorry, I know I skipped over a few things here. I'm looking at ALUR. That was one of the top gainers today, but I don't see any alerts, arrow signal. If you don't find it on a window, that means a filter wasn't met, more likely than not. This is for Mason. So if you've got the scan, if you've got a specific scan you think it should have alerted on, but it didn't, there's 2 things you can do. One, you could use the missing symbol check function if it's an alert window. Let me share the user's guide link for that. Or you can email us the scan, info@trade-ideas.com and info@trade-ideas.com. And just please make sure it's the single scan, not a layout, and say, hey, just curious, this stock XYZ didn't alert at this time that I thought it should have. If you could help me figure out why it didn't alert, and we'll get you an answer to that. And then let's see, I just want to make sure I got been a free member for a few years, probably swing trades in my retirement account. Should I choose basic or premium? Sorry, Truth Seeker, I'm just seeing this now. I apologize. Basic, you don't need premium. Premium is going to be if you want Holly. Holly's more, I won't say Holly's more of a day trader, but that was its primary focus. We do have the long term where it tracks alerts that she had as a day trade that's gone on to multi-day winners. But I would say start with basic, right? See how you feel about it. And you can always add premium afterwards. That's just my 2 cents there. I hate to sell you into something that, is above what you'll actually need. What I think is one of the other big values of the premium, although I don't think enough users use it for whatever reason, is the back testing. You can create alert windows for swing trade back testing. I think it's more popularly used in day trading, but that I just think that day trading is, quote, a sexier sounding thing than swing trading is. And that's one of the big reasons why on that. That's just my personal 2 cents. But I say start with the basic, right? And if you decide, I want to see a little bit of what Holly's done long term. I want to see, I want to maybe create my own swing trade alerts and back test them and optimize them a bit. Then move to the premium afterwards, right? The software is so vast also that, as I said at the beginning, you really need to have the basics down before you can get to the advanced stuff, right? You don't start running marathons, right? You got to learn to run half a mile and then a mile and so on and so forth. So like everything else, most things anyways, with the exception of a few architecture structures out there, things are built from the bottom up is how it goes. So I'm just scrolling back to make sure I've didn't skip anybody else. And again, Truth Seeker, I hope you're still here, and I apologize. It took me a moment to see that. We covered that. We covered that. We covered that. We covered that. So I want to see stocks that are up 5%, 300K volume, traded on the day, minimum price $5 with an RSI above 75. All right, so one thing I want to ask you is this, Drew. When you say up 5%, are we looking 5% from the prior day's close or 5% from today's open, or is there another time frame we're thinking? So let's start with the things that are easier for me. You said you want a $5 stock, RSI above 75. What time frame RSI? We offer a few different ones. When you said 5-minute Bollinger Band. So I'm going to go with the 5-minute RSI, but stop me if you want something else. And IMAD, just give me a second and I'm going to get to you as well. Just bear with me. So, all right, 5-minute RSI. We want it at 75. You said 5-minute Bollinger Band. You want Pearson, so we want 100%. Minimum shares, you said 300K. All right, so we got that. We got that. Yesterday's close, beautiful. These are all, a lot of these are defaults. I actually keep 5 minimum on this. Good, good, good. But I use H plus L2 for RSI. Yeah, so we just have the basic RSI with your standard 14 period on the RSI. So sorry, I can't make any adjustments on that for you there. But I get everything else 5% from the close. We did 300K minimum shares. Price is $5.75, blah, 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 blah. All right, we're going to name this here. We're going to call it B bands for Drew. I'm going to press OK. And we're going to start with this here. And so this is what we got that meets that currently right now. So you got OSCR. All right, and you got CIFR. All right. So we're going to right click and save and share this to the cloud. However, we're going to make this an alert window for you as well. All right. And we're going to go over a little exercise called collaboration. So when we share things, can I make the length different? What do you mean the length? Do you mean the length of the RSI? They're hard coded. You can't change those. I'm fairly certain that's what you're asking for. But if I'm not correct on that, if my assumption is not correct, please let me know. So we can share scans back and forth via the cloud. So if anybody clicks that cloud link, you get a web page and you can copy, or you just straight up copy the link. And if you go to File, Load from Cloud, you'll see it should auto paste here. If it doesn't auto paste there, just go ahead and paste it and then press load. All right. And you will get that scan there. Now, there's also what we call collab links, but sharing scans via the collab link is not advantageous, let's call it. It doesn't share as well. It's a messier way. Just cloud links are best for sharing. But collaboration is a good way to take an alert window, turn it into a top list, or top list, turn it into an alert window. And we're going to do that right now. We're going to right click, collaborate. And we're going to highlight this here. We're going to press copy. Bang, get out of that. We're going to go File, Alert Window. We're just going to press OK. We don't care what this alert window looks like or its settings because we're about to change it. We're going to right click and we're going to go to collaborate here. We're going to get rid of what's in there. We're going to paste what we copied. Bang, done. All right. And now if we come to the configure of this, lo and behold, B bands for Drew. It's already got the name in there. If we look at the filters, all the filters are there, just like what we did. Now, though, we need to pick an alert. And I cannot stress this enough. Please, if you make alert windows, don't use the heartbeat. Please don't use the heartbeat. Every stock in our database gets set on a 5-minute timer. All right. They don't all run on the same 5-minute timer. So what the heartbeat does is it pulses out each timer for each stock on their 5-minute rotation. and would bring back the stocks that meet the filters on that 5-minute pulse. You can't speed up the pulse at all. So this is what we use. This was a topless before topless existed, but topless auto refresh every few seconds. So, the heartbeat has an internal function still, and we didn't remove it from the software because we have legacy users that do use it for whatever reason. And I'm sure there's some users out there that do very well with it because they had created stuff years ago when that was the option. But I would just say, generally speaking, the heartbeat is not a good alert to use. I would suggest, instead of doing that, string together a couple of alerts. If it's a bullish scan, string together a couple of bullish alerts. If it's a bearish scan, string together a couple of bearish alerts. Bullish alerts are green, bearish alerts are red, right, indicated. And then we have neutral as well. Bear with me. Let me find something neutral. There we go. These are neutral. They're blue, right? Consolidation, it's not bearish or bullish. High relative volume is not bearish or bullish, right? It just is. 1-minute volume spike, not bearish or bullish. It just is, right? So I would suggest stringing together bearish or bullish, depending on the scan, alert together. Maybe if you think there's a neutral alert that fits, throw that in there too. So for the reasons of this scan being kind of a breakout scan, let's go with a 1-minute volume spike. We're going to add that alert. And let's also add, I'm a big fan of our running up alerts these days, or running down if you're looking bearish. So I would add the running up, and I would add the running up now. And I would say this, I'm going to add the running up intermediate. And I would say this, the more filters you're using in a scan, throwing an extra alert or two in there may be a good idea. The less filters you're using in a scan, I would hesitate on throwing too many alerts in there. Also, keep in mind, data's coming back and forth on the system. Think of the data coming through a fire hose. And if you start putting too many alerts, too many filters, too many columns, too many scans, too many charts, think about trying to shove a watermelon through a fire hose. Not going to go well, right? Same thing with this. There's no cookie cutter set to say, or cookie cutter way to say this is too much, too many scans, this is too much data. It's going to depend on your ISP, your machine, the internet traffic around you. There's a lot of factors that can be implemented into this. So just keep that in mind. If you push the limits on anything in life, you will find it, the software included. With all that said, we're going to run the scan like that as the alert window. We're going to press OK. And let's just run the history of it today and see what we got. So, all right, we got a few alerts in here. Not too shabby. Got a lot of alerts, actually, more than I would have thought. All right. Now, notice here, though, we don't have a time column on this, right? But we do have a time column on this. It's because this came from a top list that doesn't have time on it, because the time's up here on the top list and just auto refreshes. So if I right click, come to configure, if you remember, we talked about columns. There's some that live here all the time. Boom, I can add that time. And if I want to know the alert type that came through, I can add that too. So I added time and type as columns. I press OK. And we've got the type of alert. I like to move these things around. I like time this way. I've got a particular order that I like things. So I want to see the stock, the time, the type. And there we go. So the 1-minute volume spike, the running up alert here, right? And if we hover it, it tells us what that alert was, so on and so forth. So no divergence to the alert. Sorry, buddy. We're going to go ahead and share this one out. Actually, we're going to rename this because we don't want to have the same name for both scans. So we got V-bands for Drew, alert version. And we'll press OK. We'll right click, save or share to cloud, save and share, copy, paste, bang. All right. And let me catch up on some questions now. All right. So I appreciate your patience, folks that have been waiting on some questions here. All right. Hello, Chris. Is there a way to create a custom scan to compare pre-market low with the first hour of trading value? No, there's not. We don't have the first hour of trading as a data point. We have the pre-market low as a data point. We don't have that first hour data point like that. Sorry. So there's no way to compare that. We compare it to the low of the day. That involves custom filtering. It's pretty advanced stuff, actually. And I personally have limited knowledge in the custom realm. I can muddle my way through a bit given time, trial and error, but this wouldn't be where I'd be able to do that there. I'm at. Values higher than pre-market low. Yeah, I can do the pre-market low higher than pre-market low. If you give me an email, if you shoot me an email, I can go through it. I'll figure it out. It's going to take me some time and some trial and error and testing of some coding. We don't, and just to be clear, we do not have a code compiler. This is a formula editor. So any filters that exist in our system have a short code that we can reference and build filters on with simple operators like greater than, less than, and, or, stuff like that. But if we don't have it in the system, we can't build it. So for example, we don't have EMAs, can't build an EMA filter. Time frames are hard coded. I can't just change a time frame, things like that. So if you email me info@trade-ideas.com, I'll be able to assist with that there. It's going to take me a hot minute there to figure it out. I'll muddle my way through it, and I can do things like that. If you've got some ideas that you have, you throw them out there at me. As far as the customs go, I'll do my best to get you something there. If we don't have it, we don't have it. That I apologize for. How to connect your Brokerage Plus with channel bar. I was not able to do it in the paper mode. Also, my charts are not that responsive in paper mode. How do I zoom in? So you don't connect the Brokerage Plus with a channel specifically. Brokerage Plus will just live. And then as for example, there's the symbol linking we talked about. So see how this has a red here. This is linked to red charts essentially. And these are blue here. This is linked to everything. So watch what happens when I click brokerage, click on any of these scans here, or any of the symbols in the scans. You'll see how this is changing down here in the order entry field. All right. Now, one thing with the doc does this that you might be running into. Let me make sure I don't have too many things open here before I go crazy. Freeze out the system. All right. If we go to a docked channel bar, notice how this has a pink up here. Right there, all right? So we can go to the symbol linking groups, all right? Select all. Is that how I do this? Sorry, I'm trying to muddle my way through this one because I don't use the dock channel bars a whole lot. There we go. So see how now I'm linked to all here on that up in the corner? And then let me see here. Where's Brokerage Plus? Did I do that right? Let's see. This is the test. No, I didn't do that right. Let me. Give me a second here. Symbol linking. Link to all. You can link your scans to all. There we go. Right click the scans there, link to all, and now watch any UP is going to populate here someday. Symbol linking. All. Why are you not coming for me? There we go. All right. There we go. So you can symbol link it like that. I think that's what you're talking about, the Brokerage Plus not working or connecting with the channel bar. So that's what you want to do. You just want to make sure they're linked like that. You got the window linking here, or the symbol linking here, and you have the symbol linking in scans, and you have it for the end of it, the whole doc itself as well. Charts, paper mode. So the charts, if you just click on the chart and you scroll your mouse wheel up or down, you can scroll the charts. There's also, you can click on it. I believe you press the arrow, hold on, control and the arrow keys. Oh no, you got to turn that on. So if we go to tools, options, charts, you put the zoom controls here. Save, watch this. Now I'm going to have zoom controls on my charts. Oh, got to turn the browser interface on. There we go. See, I've got zoom controls on my charts here like that. I can go forwards and backwards in time as well with that. And then tools, options, general. It's up and down arrows on the, there we go. Sorry. It was up and down arrows on the alert windows. So those are the things you can do for the zooming in and out with charts. I don't like that stuff. I like less things on my charts. So that covers that. That covers that. We're looking good. We're looking good. Yes, and thank you. Perfect. All right. I think I've caught up here. I'm scrolling back through to make sure I didn't miss anything. If I've missed something, please repost it for me. I don't see anything. All right. I think I got it all here on those questions. Wow, this is a good session. 12:40 already. Loving it. Loving it. So please, if you got questions still, get those in here for me. Don't hesitate, right? This is what we're here. This is what we do. We do this. For those that don't know, we do this every market day at noon Eastern. We usually go for about an hour. I will always stick around unless I have an appointment. I have to get to a meeting or something like that. I will stick around. I'd rather do this and answer questions here. We're well, Edwin. How are you? How are you? Welcome, welcome. I'd rather stick around here and answer questions for you folks, get you the help on the software you need than go to any meeting, to be honest. This is my happy place, is helping users. So can I please tell you how Holly AI works? Absolutely. Bear with me. I got to clean some stuff up here. Let me clean this all up. Just bear with me. I got a lot of stuff flowing all over the place, and let's get back, and I'm going to bring my layout back up. Bear with me. Bear with me. We're going to get Holly out. Show all. Here we go. So this here is Holly. I'll draw a pink X on it. Give me a second here. That's Holly. Holly makes real-time alerts. You can see it. Entry, the symbol, the price, current price, what we're doing since the entry on dollars, what we're doing on the entry since percent. And then I have some hypothetical portfolio numbers here. I'm pretending like if I took Holly's trades and was risking $100 based on her stop loss, you can see a stop price here. And so that's what Holly does. Holly give you a stop, an alert, and a stop. And then from there, you got to be a bit of a trader, right? And decide, is the alert in your wheelhouse or not in your wheelhouse, essentially, for the trading. A new feature, I still think it's new, even though we've had it since probably October, is our Trade Wave, which also does some buy-sell signals on the charts. And you may be interested in something like that. You may not be interested. I don't know. I'll let you decide that. But let me see. Let me find the Trade Wave. So you see this little B right here for a buy here, and then it works with a cloud EMA. And I'm going to tie this in with Holly in 1 second here. As this cloud EMA comes and collapses, if it moves into an orange, like this orange here, as soon as it hits that orange, we'll get a sell. And so you can consider that for some assistance in buying and selling with Holly or anything. I would say this, something to note about the Trade Wave is notice how, as price really speeds up and takes off, how the cloud here, this is called an EMA cloud, it gets gets wider, and then as price pulls back, it gets narrow. So when you see something get real wide like that, you might want to consider taking, saying to yourself, gee, a lot of momentum came into that and made a large move. Maybe I need to be taking some profits right now, and then we can see here that would have been advantageous. Now, of course, hindsight's 2020. We're looking in the past. Easy to say coulda, shoulda, woulda. But these are the kinds of things as a trader looking at, tens of thousands of charts over time are going to happen to you with whatever indicator you happen to settle on. I do feel like new traders, not just new people to the software, but new traders would do well to use the Trade Wave. And at its core, whether you know it or not, as a trader, you are a trend follower. Doesn't matter if it's daily chart, weekly chart, 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart, 10-second chart. You are a trend follower. You're trying to find a trend, catch it early, ride it, and get out before the trend ends, right? Now, generally speaking, nobody's going to buy this part of the trend. Nobody's going to sell that part of the trend. Well, we got this part here, that middle third, give or take, we'd be doing all right. So that's the short and skinny of Holly on just the software side of things. Now, at its core, Holly's an alert window, extremely fancy alert window. And that's understating it. Holly has, 55-day strategies or something like that. And each one of them gets back tested and optimized every single night. And then the ones that back test and optimize the best come to the day to alert when a stock meets the scan. So it's a black box. You can't adjusted. It's looking at the whole market. There's no, oh, what stocks is Holly looking at? Holly's looking at all the stocks. And then when one meets its criteria, we get the alert. Now, there are a few strategies in Holly. Because of historical numbers, they always come to trade each day. And then there's other ones that only come for the back testing and optimize, but they all optimize and back test nightly. Now, there is another Holly window here, the premium strategy window. I'm going to open that up. This is where the trades, you'll find the trades. This is where you find some stuff about the strategies here. So, we can see here, downward dog, back tested, optimized with win percent and profit factor, all that. Now this breakout long and pullback short, historically, they have such high numbers. They're always joining us for the party. It's the same with pullback long and breakdown short. Their numbers are historically so high that they come to play every day. This, and this grouping here, they back test and optimized well enough last night. That's why we're seeing them there today. Just because a strategy back test and optimize as well doesn't mean stock's going to meet it the next day, right? We can see all these here, no trades. We got 3 trades here on the breakout long, all right? And we got 1, 1, 1, and 1 here. And that's the way it has gone today. And so the breakout long today had 3 trades. We had a decent one here. Sorry, let me clean up some of this. FPH. And then the warrant for Lunar, LUNR. Not so great so far, but you never know. You might get what's called a trade around where it comes back around. It was up shortly. This did not work out too well here on DAN, unfortunately. And again, maybe we'll see a trade around, but that huge gap up there, a little tough to go chasing something like that, but it met the criteria scan, so that's where we are. There's no connecting with Holly. You get the alerts here, and you trade them in your broker or through Brokerage Plus, however you want, but there's no connecting it to anything. I assume by connecting you mean automation. The only automation we have at this time is for alert windows you folks create yourselves. There's no bot. You just plug in and press play. So, all right, we're cruising along here. Anybody else with questions, don't be shy, please. Get those questions in. It's what we are here for. So I see a lot of people, it looks like a lot of people anyways, especially on the Twitter side watching. So, don't be shy here, folks. If you have questions, comments, or whatever, please get those in for me. We got a couple of minutes before I'll wrap up. And again, like I said, if questions are coming in, I will stick around for a little extra time, a little overtime. Happy to do that always. Oh, how do you connect the trade waves to Holly? It's something that it's funny you mention that. We are working on, I'm using the Royal We because I'm not a coder or developer. Our development team is working on getting that in where Holly is going to have trade waves as part of her entries and exits. I think more the exits than the entries. We don't have it in there currently, but you could just have the trade wave enabled. So the trade wave indicator, it works on any chart on any time frame. So you can just have that indicator up, and you'll see it on the charts, regardless of whether you click on a Holly alert or you click on any other alert. So that's how that. There's also, if we come here, properties, right click and show AI trades. With the browser interface on, it's just a simplistic look of bang, that's the candle spot that it got. If I take the browser interface off, you get this kind of risk reward cloud right here, you want to call it. So you can choose between the trade wave EMA cloud, or you could choose between the smart risk reward cloud here like that. Up to you on what you want to do. I prefer the EMA cloud. This is more old school here. I prefer with the browser interface personally, but that's That's up to each individual to decide from them. How do we enable that on the chart? Yeah, so you got to make sure you are on our latest and greatest beta. So if you go to help and about, if you see 5.6.104 there, you're on the right software. If you see any number besides that, you need to just upgrade. Our charts with Holly, nope, just the alerts here. Just in this Holly alert here is where you'll find or this Holly window here is where you'll find the Holly alerts, and they happen in real time. So we got a time stamped on each one of those. So to make sure you're on our latest beta, you're going to want to come to the download page. I'm going to get you a link to that. Bear with me. So we want to download the beta there. Make sure to select the beta. It's on the right side. And I'm going to just show you that real quick. I'm going to bring over the web page. Beta right here. You want to select that, download and launch that. Once you have that launched, you will then look at your charts, give them a right click, and make sure the browser interface is selected. And if that's selected, then you'll see this FX, and you'll press trade wave, and you get the trade wave on your charts just like that. And I have a video that I did on this. I'm going to share that video with you right now. You watch this at your own time. I mean, you go watch it now, but if you want to stick around for the rest of the live stream and watch it again in a few minutes, that's entirely up to you. So there's the that's a video I did on the trade wave for you. A quick question. Have Holly up on my screen, filter any strategy at all. When I click on one of the 4 stocks showing the table, I do not see signals. Yes, it is much different on a Mac, Mo. I know I get beat up about the Mac thing all the time. All I can say is I'm sorry. And I can also say that what you see here on my screen for the Windows download is going to be fully webified. I can't say how fast that delivery will happen. I know that it is actively being worked on now. But I just, as a company, we're hopeful sometime towards the end of this year, but I'm not a developer, and I'm not gonna, hang them out on a clothesline like that. So I know for Mac users, long overdue. We've got the web version and the market dashboard. I know they're not the same though, and there is a full webified version like this coming. So sorry, Maze, I'm trying to figure what you were asking for. Make sure you do this. Go to new. Hang on. Lost my menu bar. It's being difficult. New premium AI strategy trades window. Make sure you got that open. Make sure your filters are set to none. Make sure all strategies are set. And you should see 4 stocks there. I bet you have a filter that's checked for only profitable trades if you're seeing just 4, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 profitable trades right now. I would suspect that's why you're seeing just 4 if I was a betting man. And then Edwin, make sure right click, make sure browser interface is checked. All right. And then once you check browser interface, look for that FX, and you'll have the trade wave as an option there to select that. And that's where you'll get those. So just let me know that you got that. All right. And again, anybody else with questions, we're rolling up on 1 o'clock here, but I will, like I said, if you guys are questioning me, I'll stick around and answer. My pleasure, Alex. My pleasure. And then, none of us really work on the weekends, but I monitor the inbox over the weekends. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. People that are nice to me, I will answer your questions on the weekends if I can. People that are mean to me, they wait. Just the way it works in life, because I don't work weekends actually. But I will. Folks that I want everybody to succeed with the software, right? I don't have any finance background whatsoever. I'm completely self-taught on everything, and it took me a long time to get to where I am, and I'm still not where I want to be. But I do believe with hard work and discipline, everybody can find success with this software and in the world of trading. And I prefer to call it risk management and trend following versus trading. So that's why, I enjoy doing this. I'm happy to stick around extra time to help people. And then let's see. Okay, you got it. Perfect. Perfect. And Edwin got it too. All right, excellent. Both of you guys got it. Excellent. All right, excellent. Can I please comment on EVAX? Yeah. Let me pull up EVAX. So let's see. 1-1 race for me today. Did I click it? Oh, there we go. Sorry, I thought I clicked it. I didn't. So let's see. We got a stock in a long-term downtrend, so there's no swing trading going on with that whatsoever. It's a day trade interaction. Gap up and giving us a middle finger candle. A lot of volume, liquidity, all that stuff like that. But look at the interest in this. Look at look at where the volume is and look how it's died. So if you're sitting in it or you're thinking about getting in it right now, you're really breaking down. You've broken down on that low of the day already. And, a gap fill is, highly probable. I don't know that I could fill the whole gap or not. That's a lot to fill. If you were to get going back bullish, if we saw the buyer step back in, we see volume come back into it, the first thing you got to do is break $6. Then you got to break this level right here that we could see became a problem. And then you're going to hit that rising VWAP, right? Or that falling VWAP. So for anybody that wants to be bullish this stock, you've got a lot of challenges ahead. Should it get through 1, 2, 3 gauntlets, then you got $8. We can see $8 was a big challenge through here. And then you finally get high of the day. So it's a lot of gauntlets to the upside to get to it. I hope you're not sitting in it. Or if you're sitting in it, I hope you're sitting in it from yesterday instead. And in that case, you still have profits to take. Because it did have a green day yesterday. So I know that there's interest in it yesterday. Or at least towards the end of the day. What about creating watch lists? Do you guys have an auto theme watch lists that are generated, or do we create those through topless example drone names? So for watch lists, we have what we call a symbols list here. So if I just right click any scan and I come into the tab, we've got these come to the symbols list tab, and if you go to add existing list, any list you created will be in here, and it'll have a personal in a bracket like this, the exclusion list, personal. And then we have a lot of stuff that we created in here. It uses a logic to scrub through the web or something like that to add stocks to the list. It's not perfect, but there's like 100 and something lists in here or more. So you can you can go through here, and there's sub lists in a lot of these things. Especially the sectors here. A lot of subsectors, and you see how far this thing goes down and how deep it goes. Not perfect, but you can start with these here and add them, and then you can tell the scan only the following list or exclude the following list. You'll want to do that with a blank top list so that you don't, unless you want to double filter, right? You're going to filter through the symbols list, and then you're going to filter through the filters as well. But, as an example here, I created a sector ETF. Bear with me. So this is just a blank top list looking at these sector ETFs here, and then I'm sorting on a change from close display, and I'm sorting. I don't think the display sort really matters in this case because of the way the scan is, but I do have a display, a server sort of change from close as well. And if we right click, come to configure, and we come to symbols list, you'll see sector analysis personal. I did create a mirror list of this for you folks if you ever want that. Sector, I think it's sector analysis user guide, I call it. Yep, sector analysis users guide. That'll be what I have here. It's just a whole bunch of ETF sectors. How often are they updated? I'll be honest, I don't know. Some of them daily for sure, because we have these lists up here. You have these daily ones. So you can find like daily bullish, bearish engulfing, bottoming tails, bullish engulfing, so on and so forth here. So those are updated daily. These Holly ones are updated according to the time frames. I would say probably these sector ones once a month, if I'm venturing a guess. If you shoot me an email, I can inquire to greater minds than mine to ask. So let me see here. Info and trade. If you shoot me an email there so it stays in the focus of my mind, I can submit a ticket to the developers, that team over there, data team, and I'll get you an answer that way, more definitive answer on all those. And then thanks got it 7.5 today. All right, yeah, sorry Mo. I wish I could tell you something better on that. It's just hopefully you have a stop loss and you're sticking to that trading plan. If you don't, I was in your position one too many times, to say the least, probably 100 too many times. You take this as a lesson in that you never get into a stock if you don't have an exit. The first things before anybody should ever be buying a stock, they ask themselves is, if I'm wrong, what price am I wrong? And why am I wrong at that price? And then the next thing is, if I'm right, how am I going to manage it to the upside? For myself, I have a tentative target. My target's never a hard target, though. My stop is always a hard stop. If that's it, there's no negotiating it, not by a penny, not by a dime. When I hit it, I hit it. And if I don't have a stop in mind, I cannot press buy. It's just, the most important thing that you could ever stress. All right. Yeah. And like I said, Dave, if you ever change your mind, you want to know, just shoot me an email. Happy to get that over to you. Cover that. On your chart, the volume shows red and green. Mine only shows blue. Can you show how to make mine like that? Yeah, absolutely, Edwin. So we do it like this. If you right click and you come to indicators, go to edit, because your volume's already in there. Select volume, go to modify colors, then select use up and down colors, and then select your up color, right? Press OK. Select your down color, press OK. Press OK here, and then save it, and you'll save your changes, and you'll have volume bars, the two different colors that you want to have those. Okay, I think I'm caught up again. If I'm missing a question, don't be shy. Get it in here. Remember, I can't answer questions that are not asked. Let's see. I think I'm caught up here. We are at the 1 o'clock mark. We're really at the 1:02 mark. So I'm going to say, I'm going to silent auctioneer in my head, going once, going twice, going 3 times on my way out the door. But again, if you folks are keeping me engaged, I will stick around. I will hang out. I'm more than happy to answer questions. So don't hesitate to keep me here if you want to with some questions. And while I'm waiting to see if another question comes in, for those that are unaware, we have a free live traders room, 100% free. There's no nonsense that goes in this room. We don't allow it. Our moderator doesn't allow it. Nobody in this room tells anybody what to buy, sell, or hold. There's no financial advice given. We showcase the software. We share scans. We talk about ideas and generations of those ideas, where they come from. So, for example, I'm seeing stock XYZ. It's hovering around the VWAP. Volume's coming in. We're not talking about if we're bearish or bullish of it, right? We're just talking about that. People will post entries real time saying, I just entered stock XYZ at this price for XYZ reason with XYZ target and XYZ stop. That stuff happens in there, but there's reasons given. It's in real time. We don't talk about money in there. It doesn't help anybody. Oh, I made $5,000 today. Well, good for you. That doesn't help anybody here. We're happy for you, but that's not what it's there for. It's a community, right? For that kind of stuff. So it's a free 100% free live traders room. I'm going to share a link to it as soon as I can find the link. There it is. Copy link address. There we go. This is free to everybody and anybody, anywhere, anytime. Let me post it on Twitter as well. All right. That room that I just posted into the Twitter accounts, it is 100% free to everybody. We are confident that if you hang out in that room long enough, you're going to want to be a Trade Ideas subscriber. That's why we should do it. That's why we showcase that. All right. Could you tell us your strategy when you start the day on the platform? What do you look for? What analysis when you first open? Spot potential opportunity. 100%, Mo. Love to do that. Great stuff. Edwin, glad you found this helpful. We do this every market day, noon Eastern, plus the live traders rooms going at, it starts earlier than 9 o'clock, but Barry doesn't get there till 9. So it's just a lot of people talking markets and stuff like that beforehand, no screen sharing or anything like that. Barry gets there at 9, comes on the mic 9:05, 9:10, shares a screen, all those things like that. I will check those stocks in a moment. Let me go over, if you hang out here and give me a moment, I'll go over those 2 stocks just threw in there, SOUN, SMST. But let me go over this for Mo, my routine essentially. So what you see here on my screen, this is my main layout. I have a few other things on another screen here. You know what? Bear with me 1 second. I can show this other screen, right? Why not? So let me show this other screen real fast. Bear with me. Entire screen. I'm going to select that. We're going to share it. And we got to minimize this, right? And so I have this screen over here. So one of the things I don't do any pre-market work other than I look at the futures just to get a glimpse of the futures and have an idea of, possible what's happening. And then I have these windows over here we call compare count windows. And this is, think of a market breadth, right? And I look at these. This is looking at 30-day highs versus 30-day lows. There's some other metrics that are in there, so I'm not looking at any garbage stocks through it. And I look to see when this stuff is real green, I'm feeling a little more bullish, right? When all these things are more green, these are segregated by market caps here for small caps, mid caps, large caps, so on and so forth. And so I use these to get a market pulse and how we're feeling on the market. So right now we can see it's a real good day for these mid caps in between 2 and 4 billion, right? Pretty decent day here for sub 2 billion. So I bet if we look at the IWM, and we're going to swap screens back. Bear with me. There we go. We look at the IWM. Yeah, IWM started off pretty healthy today, right? It's given some back now, but it's started off pretty healthy. We're above that 220 level. A lot of stuff I like to talk about here. So that's part of what I'm doing here, and that helps me to gauge a little risk on, risk off. Instead of switching screens back and forth, let me bring over compare count windows. Now, on this window here, one of the things I like to do is this. Aside from this here giving me an overview of things, once this gets we get about 30-40 minutes into the day, it takes a lot to move this again because stocks have mostly made their highs and lows for the day. But then I watch this here. This is alerts per second that are coming through here on this side of the chart. And so that's the new high alerts per second. This is the new low alerts per second. And so then I'll watch this to gauge, because something people don't understand is stocks move, then the markets move, right? They don't move hand in hand, actually. When we start to see a lot of the bigger stocks sell off, we'll then see the SPY sell off, or the Qs, or the Dow, or all the above, right? They don't happen hand in hand. And on the reverse side, when we see stocks moving up, when we see our NVIDIAs and Apples, or if we got just a big group of stocks that are overall moving up, that are got some weighting going on, then we see the markets move up. So when I see this start to move, I know that the market's about to start moving too, right? And this ain't moving. I know that the market ain't going to be doing jack squat either, right? And if we bring over SPY chart, look at that, right? Kind of just floundering around. We're not making necessarily new highs. We're not really making much of new lows. Right there, we got a little blip. And look at that. Right here, we got a little blip, right? A little blip up on the new lows, little blip down here on the sell-off side. Negligible, both of them, right? But that's how that works. So these are the kinds of things that we're keeping in mind and that we're watching and that I'm doing here myself. So that's the market pulse side of things. Now, Bear with me. Get things back off here. I've got the scan here. I shared it earlier, relative strength from the open. This is what I do a lot of my day trading through. This one here too, we'll say that they're very similar scans. This is a Bollinger Band component. This does not have a Bollinger Band component. This also looks at stocks a little, its minimum threshold is a little higher than the minimum threshold here. And, I'm watching stuff early and trying to see, what's the volume coming through it. Is there interest in it? Start marking up some price alerts on this here, right click, create price alert from an area of interest for me, so on and so forth. And then I've also got this over here for my winners, my top 10 winners, as a watch list for the whole day here. And I could go and look at something like after, I'm running 3-minute races. So I could look at something like this and I could say, gee, it's off its high, it's pulled back, it's not winning races, but it's fighting at this $5 level. And, kind of looking at this here, if it gets back through 520 again, it might have a chance to get going again. So maybe I set a price alert there at that 520 level. And patience is the name of the game. A lot of sitting on my hands. I miss a lot of trades, but sometimes missing the trade is better because it wasn't a long enough lived trade for me anyways. And so I'm just going through stuff like that. And that's my day trading side of things. And then I've got swing trading that happens, a lot of it in this scan over here. Setting up towards the end of the day when we're in a nice bullish environment like we are currently. Don't let anybody tell you anything different than we are in a very raging bull market. Anyone that tells you different is either a liar or dumb or both. I'm looking for stocks that are breaking out over 20 days and closing strong here. And I'm trying to find that momentum and carry them into the next day here with those scans. So I go ahead and share those scans. Bear with me. Let me look for some links. And, well, I can share my scans individually with you. All right. Am I ever in that trading room I just shared? I fill in for Barry once in a while when he goes on vacation. But Barry, that's Barry's baby. That's Barry's room. The reason we even had that room is because of Barry. So I can go ahead and share. I'm going to let me see here. Yeah, let me share out my, I'll share individual scans. If I share the whole layout, there are things in my layout that just don't transfer because of some custom formulas. But I have versions without the custom formulas that work the same. So bear with me. I'm going to start posting links in here, and you can just start adding those. The one thing that I ask you is when you open these links, load them and save them to the cloud right away so that you have them living in your cloud forever and ever and ever. So I'm going to start with, it's going to take a few minutes to get all this stuff in here. If you are on the Twitter side and you would like any of these items, please indicate so in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to post them in YouTube. Okay, bear with me. Share, copy, paste. And Edwin, bear with me. We're going to go over all that stuff. Share, copy, paste. So these are the compare count windows. When each loads, they have the titles on them, so you'll be able to clearly see that marked. Copy, paste. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Share, copy. Anybody has any other questions in the meantime while I do this, throw those in there and we'll circle back to those. So that's the 4 intraday compare count windows. Share, copy, paste. This is a 30-day one, and it's 30 days. It includes weekends, but I like that as a broader look at the market. When we got a lot of stocks making new highs for 30 days over the last 30 days, that's the kind of stuff I want to see. That's strong. That's strength, right? So here, the scan that's in my top, the race that's in my top right, that's this scan coming in right now. The one that's in the bottom right, that's the one that's coming in right now. I guess I give you the 10-day daily breakdown as well. Bear with me. Let me find that. Our 10-day daily breakout race, breakout, not breakdown, not breakdown. Copy. Put that here. There you go. Let's see, what else can I give you on here? My evening scan, you'll want that. This is my swing trading scan. These aren't like, just so we're clear, these aren't like magic scans or anything. They're just scans that I came up with over the years. They work well for me personally. They work well more than not, I should say. But, that's no indication of that there's anything magic or special to them, right? That, over time created this stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's the short and skinny of what I've got there. If you want a sector ETF list, hold on. Sector analysis. If you want a top list that's just looking at all the sectors, here's that as well. Again, if you're on the Twitter side and you want any of these, please indicate it in the chat. If you don't indicate it in the chat, it's a lot of links, so I'm not going to post all those there. Unless you indicate it. Sorry. So, that's for the most part my my layout. Charts are charts. So feel free to, go to new and create your own charts. I don't, you can see I'm not using much for indicators on here. Not a big indicator person anymore. I like my charts real clean. I like support and resistance, volume and price, and that's really all I need. But that's me. Other people like a lot of moving averages, crossover, MACD, all that stuff like that. And by all means, if it works, you should continue to use it, right? I'm very happy to share that. Very happy to share that. Let me go over the evening scan. Sorry, I didn't go over that. Configure. Let's look at that real fast. Very simple scan, but to quote the great Jamie Hodge, who quoted Leonardo da Vinci, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And so what I did was I said, find me stocks that are $11 or more, traded 750,000 shares on a day with a relative volume of 1 or more. They're 75% above the low 20-day range, 75% above the low of 2 days range. And so the idea is I'm trying to find stocks that are closing or have closed strong and breaking out over 20 days to build and follow that momentum. So let's go through a few of these here. Now there's going to be a lot of stocks in here. I'll probably like less than half of them, but this is part of the trader work, is going through chart after chart after chart after chart, right? Some people love it. I love it. Some people don't. Tal, no, I don't like that chart. And for anybody that wants to know why I don't like that chart, we're in a downtrend, we moved up. We're in a downtrend, we moved up. We're in a downtrend, we moved up. What do we see though? Lower highs. What do we see? I guess we had lower lows till right here. Now we do have a higher low at this point, but I'm still not crazy about this. I'm going to have to prove to me more before I could get interested in it. ELAN, same thing, crap chart. This one's already run away on us. I would have liked it back here, and I suspect it was probably showing somewhere in here on this scan. No, it wouldn't have been because it was under $11. So, but let's just pretend that if this had been above $11, you get something that's trending just so beautiful, and we get a breakaway gap with a pullback that doesn't give up that breakaway gap right there, right? That's the kind of thing that I'm looking at right there. That's beautiful. Now, again, look, it's hindsight. Easy for me to go back and say it's beautiful now. Developing that kind of insight into a chart, there's no predictions made. It's just all of a sudden a healthy if-then scenarios start to develop in my mind, right? Well, we've done this. We made a breakaway gap. We pulled back. We couldn't break through that pullback here. So if we continue to break out, I like it, and then I will own the stock. If we don't, I won't own it, and I won't. And if I own it, I'm going to look for that then spot for my stop. Use a few different things for my stop, depending. Sometimes a low of some kind of candle, sometimes this multi-period low 20 indicator here, different things like that. It depends on the distance from what I'm getting in and what my risk is on that, because I risk the same amount of money every trade. And then, sorry, Hutch, I see some stuff coming in. Bear with me. I just want to look at another chart or two here. DVAX, I'm not crazy about the chart. It's not a quote bad chart. I'm just not crazy about it personally. IREN. I like this chart. Again, why do I like it? All right, we moved up and we pulled back, right? But we continue to build. And look at this. This is why I like this multi-period indicator. Look at how it's like stairs climbing. And we've taken a seat back into those stairs here. And, you know, I would like to note this here. I love to draw lines on charts because I love support and resistance. My mind immediately went to this area right here, right? And look at how much price is touching this area right here. So we can keep and clear this area. I like our shot to take that to right there. It's in an interesting field, data processing, right? So it's some kind of computer related stuff. We know about AI and the cloud and all that buzz that's going on. Fairly large float stock. Medium short float, nothing crazy, but you know, 7.59% on that short float. So it's an interesting stock to me. That's an interesting looking chart. Am I trading it right now? No, but you know, this is the kind of stuff that I'm doing nonstop when I'm looking at charts. So, all right, not sure how much to put up on my double screens. One have explosive winners. The other second chart for the day, and then pull back 10 SMA scalper data evening scan, breaking out in volume. I tried to trend levels. 50 overwhelmed a little bit. So I'll go over things about float in 1 second. I'll say this for you, Hutch, and for everybody out there. First thing to do is ask yourself, how often are you using a scan? If the answer is none, close it. That's the end of it, right? Just close it. You can revisit it anytime. Just make sure it's saved, right? That's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is ask yourself, who am I as a trader? If you can't answer that question right now, that's fine, right? It takes time to develop that. It took me way too long to develop that, right? But what I'll say is this is who you are as a trader is who you are as a person, right? If you're just a real fast paced get up and go kind of person, nonstop running, you know, you might be more apt for shorter time frames and things like that. Doesn't mean you'll be successful with it, but that's probably more in your wheelhouse. If you're very patient and methodical and you like things to play out and set up, you are a swing trader. You're unlikely to do great on the fast trading moving stocks intraday. Things that might be a little slower rolling on the intraday, you probably could do well on that. But keep in mind, who you are as a person is who you are as a trader. You don't have to like it, but those are the facts of life. So that's the next thing to ask yourself, right? And then split layouts up also, right? You do not need pre-market scans during the regular session. You do not need regular session scans during the pre-market. You don't need post-market during pre-market or regular session, and you don't need regular or pre-market during the post-market, right? There's no reason to have all that stuff up there. Close it immediately, segregate your layouts. Now, here's a story I like to tell. I was talking with a trader in our support chat. It's got to be like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. And they were asking for help with building a scan. And I asked them and some stuff with their layout. And I asked them to send me layout. And they sent me 3 different layouts, actually. And all 3 were intraday layouts. So they had one layout that was just a couple of scans and some base charts that they used at the open. And then they had a set of scans that they would add at 11 o'clock Eastern. And then they had another set of scans that they would add at 3 o'clock Eastern. And for whatever reason, these scans, he had done whatever with these scans that he only wanted to look at these one scans after 11 and from 11 to 3, and then he'd close them. And then he had another set of scans that he'd open from 3 to, I don't know if it went to post-market or not, I don't remember, but he opened them from 3 p.m. on. And so he had segregated his layout like that. And the reason is he said, I don't want to be looking at all this stuff all day. It's too much information. I get paralyzed by it. Go figure. Right. So those are things you might consider, Hutch, for that scenario that you're in. I see our numbers have ticked up here and we're going way over time. So if you have questions, anybody, don't be shy. Get those into the questions panel. Like I said, I will stick around if you folks are asking questions, which you are doing. So float. Think of float like this. All right. You live in a cul-de-sac, and I'm stealing this from Barry. So if anybody in here is listening, please make sure to tell Barry later that I took his cul-de-sac analogy, all right? Let's just say that you live in a cul-de-sac, and there's 10 houses in that cul-de-sac, and yours is the only house for sale, right? Hey, kind of set price, right? If it's a coveted area that people want to be moving into, well, think of that as like a low float, right? And when you have that lower float, the more trading that goes in on this, the more the price is going to be driven by that. You got everybody bidding on that one house, you got everybody bidding on this one stock. So the same kind of concept, right? And so that can drive price very quickly. Now, in that same cul-de-sac, if I'm trying to sell my house and there's 10 houses and 9 other people are already selling theirs, not so much, right? Not going to have the price action move on the houses like that. You'd also compare it to a speedboat in the ocean and an oil tanker in the ocean, right? Those low floats, think of them as the speedboats. They could be whipping all over the place, going crazy. And that's when we see, charts going nuts everywhere. So for example, we don't have the float information on NEUP, but I suspect this is a low floater and we can see it just going crazy all over the place. This is what you see low float stocks do a lot versus an Apple. You just don't see it, with a huge float moving all over the place, right? It just doesn't happen like that, right? It's just not whipping everywhere like that. Tesla, large float, whips all over, but it's a cult stock. So, take that what you will. Ford, great example of a low float stock. This thing just don't move, right? This is like an oil tanker in the ocean. When it was way up here, it was $15. Way down here, $10. Huge difference in chart space, not a big difference in the pricing, right? So those are the things you could think of in an analogy to float. EVAX, yeah. EVAX has got a low float, I'm guessing. Yeah, we don't. I filed that we don't have a float on this. I don't know why. Happens. So, but same concept here. I suspect this is I believe this is like a 1 or 2 million float stock. And so that's what you see here. You've got these low floats, right? There's a limited supply, and a whole lot of people going in on it. And so that's how that works. Then you have your short float. Short float is just the amount of it's a percent of the float available that's being held short right now. The higher that is, means that more people are betting on the stock to fall. Let's find something that's got a short float that maybe we can see. It's got a short float. I want to find all the datas. Bear with me. Okay, so we've got BKSY, all right? And so we've got a float number here. We've got the short float. So that means 8.8% of that number is held short right now. And that's up this amount of percent from the last time it was reported. These are reported bi-weekly, usually twice a month. They're based on estimates. So you could see one data provider say that, you're looking at a 25 mil float on this. Another one say 23 million float. Another one might say 26 million. It should be within the ballpark, a million or 3 within each other for the most part. Right. So that's the short growth. So we can see that more and more people are betting on this stock to collapse here. And all those people betting, if they were all to cover at the rate that this normally trades, that's the days to cover. So it means it would take 1.3 days for everybody short this to cover it based on the current volume that's being done in the stock historically right now. And so that's what the days to cover means there. So these are parts of the puzzle we can put together where we can deduce if stocks are possibly headed for a short squeeze. And a short squeeze happens when folks that are holding the stock short have to quickly cover their shorts and buy back the stock because price is pushing higher and they're at a loss. Sometimes it's your broker that forces you to cover it. Sometimes you just have to cover because it hit your stop or whatever your case may be for covering your short. And so that's where short squeezes happen. So you have people already buying the stock, and then you have the people holding it short have to buy it back on top of the people holding it short. You may in fact have that going on with BKSY today, right? Because look, we've got, and it's not a bad short float there. It's not small, not huge, but not small. And you can see that there's been a big increase there all of a sudden. And so we logically look back and say, well, where are people likely holding the short from? They're not likely holding it short from here, right? It's a long time to be holding a position short like that, especially if you were that in the money down here. So people are likely holding it short from somewhere in here, and all those people are likely underwater right now, right? So those are the kind of things that we look at and that kind of stuff like that. So look at SMX, but if there are no other questions, software related coming in, I'm going to begin to wrap up the day. So SMX, this thing has done 100 reverse splits probably. Chris, how do you know it's done a bunch of reverse splits? That's how I know right there, that number. There's no way this stock had a lifetime high of 200 and something thousand. Just not going to happen. Also, look at that float. It's a micro float, right? Nobody believes in this stock. Yes, you can get over 100% short float because of the way things are held and options and stuff like that. So it doesn't happen often. I would suspect this is a company that will be bankrupt sooner than later. Clearly there's no long-term play in this whatsoever. It's had its moment here today, shot up for whatever reason. With a float that small, there could be a trading room out there. There are trading rooms out there that they run stuff up on purpose like this and coordinate it. And then as soon as, they start seeing other people outside of their room are clearly buying it, they pull the ripcord and all sell, and that happens. So that's a pump and dump right there, more likely than not. The float on this, 300,000. I mean, it's a micro float. It's beyond tiny. That's near as small as it gets before the stock doesn't exist anymore. And the reason why that happens is because the stock was under whatever the NASDAQ listing price is. I forget what it's got to be for the NASDAQ. So they had to do a reverse split to bring the price of the stock up. So it means that, like, let's say I held 10 shares of this and they did a 2-for-1 reverse split. Well, now my if I held 10 shares and it was worth $1, well, now I hold 5 shares that are worth $2 on that reverse split. That's how that works. So, and again, I taught myself all this stuff. I don't have any finance background. This is just years of studying and work and all that stuff like that. So it's possible. It's possible. Just, there's no magic bullet to any of this here. Time, energy, and hard work. And just like in anything in life, you're not promised success in anything, right? So you just have to remember that. All right. If there are no other software questions, I am going to wrap it up for the day. But this was a very, very good session. And, I say that I don't, I'm not talking here like I think I have much more knowledge than I have success in the market. That's not something I'm actually proud of, but it is what it is. It took me several years before I had any success whatsoever. And even then, it's not like I'm running off and I'll be buying a beach home in Maui or something anytime soon. So just the way it goes. So, yep, we do this every day at noon, every market day at noon. And again, so on my walkout here, if you're not in our traders room, as I close this down, you should go to the traders room and you should hang out there and you should listen and take notes, because that's where I started. I'll share that again on Twitter. That is exactly where I started, was the traders room. I was told by someone, if you're thinking about getting into stock trading, go to this traders room, watch, listen, take notes, and see if you'll even like it, because it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And trading is not what you think it is. And I said, okay, sounds good. And then here we are 8 years later, I guess, 8 years, almost 8 years later. So that's the short and skinny of all that. So, all right. I thank you folks all very kindly for joining me. Appreciate it. I will likely be the one doing this on Monday. We do have a rotation of this. A few of us do it. So today was actually going to be Andy, but he is flying under the weather, pretty sick. So I said, I got your back, buddy, and I will take care of it today. With that said, I'm going to wrap up the stream. I thank you all very kindly. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend wherever you are. And get in that trading room, get in that trading room, get in that trading room. Yep, that's during trading hours, Monday through Friday. Barry gets on the screen at 9 a.m. Eastern, give or take 9 a.m. Eastern. He shares the screen, gets on the mic at 9 a.m. Eastern. He runs 2:30 to 3 o'clock most days. It's the same thing. If people are asking questions and engaging, he'll stick around longer. If not, he won't, that kind of thing like that. The room itself will open earlier. The room itself opens around 7 a.m. There's some folks in there that help him moderate. They're just talking markets, upgrades, downgrades, all kinds of stuff like that in there. So a lot of good market talk, a lot of very smart people in that room. So I would highly encourage leveraging that room. So, all right. Thank you again, folks. You take care. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you Monday.